Hello, my name is Fabio. I am the teacher Fabio, and I'm going to explain today what the simple present tense is. Okay? Simple present tense. All right, so what is that? It's all about routines, what you do every single day since you wake up until you go to sleep. Okay? So basically, in terms of grammar, we're gonna just get into it, okay? So we have the subject pronouns right here, I, he, she, it, we, you, they. So in this tense, we are gonna have to use two auxiliaries, do and das. But in that case, for first person, in this case for I, you use do, and then for plural, you use do as well, okay? So we, you, they. Basically is that. So third person, what we call third person is he, she, it, okay? And that's the only one, or are the only ones, sorry, that are going to use das. That's pretty much it, okay? Whenever we use the ones that are in red color, we use das. And they are going to modify the verb in an affirmative sentence, okay? Not in negative sentences or questions, only in affirmative sentences. Let's see examples after we see the rules of those verbs with third person in affirmative sentences. Let's see. So the first one, the first rule is going to be that in most of the verbs we gotta add an s at the end of the verb. Okay. For instance, to want, wants, to sit, sits. She wants, or he wants, or it wants. That's it. All right. That's with most of the verbs. But in the rule number 2, we have that if the verb ends in ss, sh, ch, x, or zz, we add es. For instance, those words like to pass would be passes. She passes or he passes. Okay? To wash, he or she washes. To watch, he or she watches. All right? So that would be the rule number 2. Now, let's see the number 3 in here, the rule number 3. When the verb ends in O, we add es as well. For instance, go or to go is goes in that case. To do, does. In this case, not as an auxiliary, but like a verb. All right? All right, perfect. Then let's go with the rule number 4. When the verb ends, for instance, the last three letters in a word, if they are a consonant, a vowel, and a consonant, you add the s at the end only. For instance, play, or to play, accomplish with that rule. In that case, if we have play, and we can see that that rule accomplished consonant, vowel, and consonant. In that case, you have consonant, right, in here, which is the L, vowel, which is the letter A, and another consonant, which is Y. As it accomplishes with this, you need to add the S at the end. That's pretty much it. All right, as well as pay, same thing. But in the rule number 5, sorry. So this one says that basically if you don't accomplish with the same thing as the rule number 4, so you need to, in that case, change that. So if we take a look in play, that that word, the letter or the last letter finishes in Y, as well as study. So you would think that you need to add the S at the end, but as I explained before, so it's consonant, vowel, consonant. But in this case, it's not accomplishing with this. It's, in that case, vowel, consonant, consonant. In that case, it doesn't accomplish with that same rule. In this case, it's going to be different. What we doing here? In here, just we detach the Y, we remove the Y, the consonant, and we replace that with an IES, all right? And would be she studies or he studies this way. Harris as well is going to be this way. And that's the difference between rule number 5 and rule number 4, okay? Because those words finish in Y. But look, consonant, vowel, consonant, and in this case, it doesn't do it. Okay, so that's why it's different. All right, number 6, or rule number 6, irregular verbs change completely. Okay, for instance, we have the verb have. So for plural we have, and also for first person, if it is he, she, it, they are going to use has. This is an example of an irregular verb. So that's basically it. So in here I have an example. For instance, to put it in context, the dog leaps over the fence. This is an affirmative sentence. The verb is leap. You need to add the s at the end because it's an affirmative sentence. Dog is replacing the subject it. All right. So in that case, is the same thing if I say it leaps over the fence. Okay. What I'm doing in here is only replacing, you know, this by the subject. All right. So the negative way would be the dog does not. So we put the auxiliary to deny, and we put not. Okay. In that case, we put not in here. Not does not leap over the fence. You don't modify the verb whenever you use the auxiliary in here. Okay. And then the question, how's gonna be the question? The question is to put the auxiliary first, then the dog leap over the fence is the normal sentence, but you put at the beginning does. Does the dog leap over the fence? And that's the way interrogative. The interrogative way, sorry. I got something on my throat. Um, Now, so to practice a little bit more this part over here, let's go for some examples right here. Okay, they get up, they do not get up in negative way, and do they get up. What's happening in here? So I'm not modifying in affirmative sentence the phrase. Why? Because this is plural. As I mentioned before, only you need to modify the verb in affirmative sentences when we talk about these three guys, he, she, and it. Third person is the only one that is going to use das, okay? Third person, all right? So with plural or first person, you don't have to modify the verbs. Only is going to happen with he, she, and it, all right? Take into account that. Let's just make some samples really quick in here. So if I'm going to use she, I can say she gets up in that case, right? She gets up. She gets up. Sorry. She gets, oh my God. She gets up. Okay, she gets up. All right. So it's going to be like that because we're talking about third person. Okay. In that case, I'm adding the s on this verb. That's basically it. If I have the negative way for that same sentence, how it's gonna be? In that case, it's going to be she. What is the auxiliary for third person? Do or does? Well, as I mentioned before, it's going to be for them does, right? It's only for these ones. So you need to put right there the auxiliary does, but as this is the negative part, so you deny with not. She does not get up. And that's gonna be pretty much the negative way for that. All right, you're putting does not right there, which is gonna be the part that is going to do all the job in order to make or convert that sentence in a negative one. Now, how's gonna be the question? So you put does, all right, and then the rest of the sentence. So because the question starts by the auxiliary. In this case, the auxiliary is does because we're talking about third person. So does she get up? Okay, and quotation mark. So in here I'm using the auxiliary again. You don't modify the verb, you see? Whenever your auxiliaries, okay, which are in negative sentences and interrogative sentences, you don't modify the verb for third person, okay? For third person. It's gonna happen only in affirmative sentences. That is going to happen only when you make an affirmative sentence. That's basically it, all right? And that you can count many subjects in here with different I don't know, verbs, but what you need to take into account basically is that with plural you never change the verbs, okay? With we, you, they, or I first person as well. Whenever you have third person, always, just in affirmative sentences, you modify the verb with the rules that I showed you before. Probably you don't learn that by heart, but you can just get into the practicing by doing sentences and trying to speak a little bit about this, and you're gonna just get it really quick that way, all right? The other way, remember, so affirmative sentences with third person modifies the verb, but in negative ones, you don't do it. You just leave the verb as it is because you're using auxiliaries. Same thing in questions, okay? And that's basically it about the verb to be in terms of grammar. So you need is just to know that you need to learn some vocabulary when you're talking about your daily routines. So in that case, you can say, I get up, I take a shower, I get dressed, I have breakfast, I go to work, I start work at 9, I have lunch, I finish work, I arrive home, I have dinner, I watch TV, and I go to bed. Basically, this explanation that I did before is gonna be for learning how to say those routines in first person or third person. So if you're going to talk about your sister, for example, what is she doing or what she does, I'm sorry, what she does every single day, you can just start conjugating that way. For instance, she gets up, she takes a shower, she gets dressed, uh, she has breakfast, okay? He goes to work if it is a guy. He starts work at 9 or 7, blah, 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 anytime you want to talk about. And she has lunch or he has lunch, all right? But if it is plural, they have lunch, we have lunch. So you need to play with those subjects applying those rules. And basically, that's pretty much it about simple present tense. I hope you can get it, and I hope you can practice and do many things with this tense. It's not difficult. I mean, this grammar looks like it's a lot or difficult to learn, but not. It's just a matter of practicing every single day as well in order to master it. Okay, and have a nice day. Thank you.